Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Max Wardell, overheadathletics.com. Today we're going to talk about 4 drills, kind of 5, but really 4 drills that you can utilize to help you stay closed from the target. So how do we really stay closed from the target? Well, one of the big things is hip flexibility or hip mobility, and we'll cover that in another video. In this video, we'll talk specifically about the mechanics of the throw or the drills in which I can utilize to assist me in staying closed from the target for longer, which is going to allow me to maximize my throwing velocity and speed. The first one that we utilize is a pre-positioned internal rotation apex throw. This is where the arm is positioned slightly in front of the body, the elbow is shoulder height, the ball is about as high as the eyes. That puts my arm at about a 30 to 45 degree angle relative to the floor. And that's about the amount of rotation that we see in the scientific literature, indicates good positioning of the arm. In addition, the athlete is going to start closed from the target. By starting closed from the target, we put ourselves in a great position to accelerate the ball at a rapid rate of speed. The hips are closed, the shoulders closed, everything's in a more optimal position. And then we ask the athlete to accelerate the ball from that more optimal position. So in this way, they start to learn where their body's supposed to be in space, and we teach them or we give them guidelines of where they're supposed to be. Once they can replicate a throw from a good position, then what we need to do is start to teach them how to get to that position. So we can have them start more across their body, reaching the ball further across, and then pulling across the body. As the athlete pulls across the body, it forces them to rotate their shoulders closed. And by pulling across and rotating the shoulders closed, they can stay closed from the target for longer. That allows them to be more closed early, but also stay closed later on. We can then do that same exact throw from a lower position with other constraints. And what we've done with this is one of our favorite ways to do this, is we've put a foam roll vertical as well as a hurdle on the floor. The hurdle on the floor is designed to keep the athlete to step over that. That allows them to keep their pelvis, the front of their pelvis, up a little bit longer. And then the vertical pillar there, the foam roll, forces an athlete to not swing their leg out and around. So a lot of times we see athletes swinging their leg out and around as a way to offload the hip and get out of a hip internal rotation or a rotation away from the target. And by putting the foam roll there, they have to avoid that, stay closed for longer until they get past that foam roll. So it's a great technique to start to load the pelvis properly. At the same time we're doing this, you can see that the reach or the ball is slightly across the body, so that you have to do a slight pull across, which allows you to rotate more into rotation. Once we've done a bit of that, the next step is to incorporate a step behind crow hop. And the step behind crow hop can be really effective because it pre-positions the pelvis rotated away from the target with the butt more towards the target. So you're more closed as you begin to accelerate the ball. That allows you to not only accelerate the ball from a better position, but learn what it feels like to be closed from the target, as opposed to a step in front crow hop, which will already turn the pelvis open to the target. If you guys are interested in a video on crow hop technique for baseball players, I've done a video on this recently. I suggest you guys check that one out. The other thing that you can utilize to ensure or to facilitate you staying closed from the target is a little bit of what we call feeding the fault. Feeding the fault is a concept or an application where we actually try to make the fault worse, or the flaw, we accentuate it. Good example of this is maybe somebody who bends their knees too much, and we try to bend their knees more, so that they have to resist against that and not go into so much of a knee bend in whatever movement. In the throw, for example, if an athlete flies open too early with their front shoulder, we will try to load that movement so it makes them fly open even more. They don't like that, and so then all of a sudden they start to stay closed for a little bit longer. So one way we can get them to stay closed is put a heavy ball in their throwing hand or have them hold a 2-pound weighted implement. This added load, they have to keep it close to their body. They don't want to get it as far away because it's heavier. And if they start to fly open, their body doesn't like that, and it's going to try to keep them closed for just a fraction of a second longer. So the weighted ball in the glove is a great technique to try to get an athlete to stay closed a little bit longer, or to become aware of them flying open. Because sometimes athletes fly open towards the target, and they don't even realize that they're doing it. So putting a little weighted implement in the glove can help them be more aware of their mechanics, whether consciously or subconsciously. But more importantly, the added load will facilitate some change in their mechanics and help them to stay closed from the target for longer.